Hello, this is going to be a tutorial on animating an object in Blender 4. Even if you've never used the software before, or if you've never done animation, you should be able to follow along. Firstly, you can download the newest version of Blender from blender.org, which is currently in version 4.3. Let me show you where that is. It's going to be blender.org, and you can just press download. Download Blender 4.3.2, and you're going to choose your, if you have Windows, you're going to choose Windows, and if you have Mac, you're going to choose Mac. Once you open it up, after you've downloaded and installed it, you should see something similar to what's on screen for me. From here, we can just click on the general option right here. Now you'll see in the top right, we have a cube, a light, and a camera in our scene. So this is our cube, this is our light, this is our camera. Sorry, this is our light and this is our camera. We can left click on anything to select it. Right now on the top left right here, this is our select tool. If you hover over it and hold left click, you're gonna have a couple options here. Right now we want to leave that on select box, and what that does is it lets us choose things or multiple things by selecting, clicking and dragging, left clicking and dragging. Now, to move around in the software here, you want to have your mouse hovering in this big section with the grid. And firstly, you're going to need a mouse with a scroll wheel that has a button. So you're going to click on the scroll wheel. Most scroll wheels do have a button. And if you move your mouse around while clicking on the scroll wheel, you should be able to orbit around. Now just try that out for a second. Now if you hold shift and click your scroll wheel at the same time, what that's going to do is going to let you pan around. So if we let go of shift and click scroll wheel, we can orbit. If we hold shift and click scroll wheel, we can pan. And then if we just scroll our scroll wheel up and down, we can zoom in and out. All right. So next, we can click on our cube here. And on the left side, we have some tools. This here is our move tool. Underneath that is our rotate, and underneath that is our scale. Right now we're going to left click on the move tool, and it's going to show these colorful arrows. If we hold left click on one of these arrows with our cube selected and drag our mouse up and down, we can move our object in that direction. And if we do that for the red one or the green one, same thing. It's going to move it in that axis or that direction. We have these little flat cubes as well. That's going to let you move it along two axes at once. And if you need to undo something ever, you can hold Control and press Z at the same time. So I'm going to undo everything I just did and get my cube back to where it was. Next we have the Rotate tool. Same deal, we hover over a colored section, we hold left click and drag, and we can move our object in that direction. Now for the Rotate tool, there's this white one. If we want to rotate it in that direction, we can. And then let's undo, press Control Z, back to where it is. The scale tool, same deal. We click on the colored lines and we can scale it in that direction. And then the white circle is going to scale it in every direction. Again, I'm going to press Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, and Control Z. And we have our cube back to where it is. Now, let's go down to the bottom of the screen. This is our timeline. So we see this little clock here, and then we have this section that goes from 1 to 250. This 1 indicates that we are on the first frame out of 250 frames. By default, our animation will play at 24 frames per second. So frame 1 through 24 will take 1 second to play through. And we should keep that in mind while we animate. So for now, let's change this 250 to a 60 and press enter because we're going to do a pretty short animation. And we can hover our mouse over the edge here and hold left click and drag up to make this timeline a little bit bigger. Now, for the first frame, let's just go to frame 1, and the way we do that is we can hold on this little blue square here and drag our timeline. I'm going to put it on frame 1. I'm going to click on my cube. I'm going to go to the move tool over here. And the way we can set a keyframe, which is basically setting a position for that frame for your object, is we can click on this keying menu here, and we just click on this key with a plus sign next to it. So in case you didn't see that, we go to keying, we go to key with a plus sign, and we just press plus. So right now we have one keyframe for our animation. And if we want to set a second keyframe, we can go to frame 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, set to 5. And I'm just going to move my cube a little bit forward. Sorry, a little bit back. And I'm going to set another keyframe there. So keying, press plus. And now if we press the play button, we'll see our cube moving. We can also just press space to play or pause. Alright, so let's set our next keyframe. Let's go to frame 20. And for this frame, I want it to go all the way over here. So I'm going to move it all the way over there, and I'm going to go to keying, and I'm going to press the key with the plus sign on it. And just to test what it looks like, I'm going to press play. Looks like that. So right now we have the ball starting in the middle over here, going back a little bit, revving up, and then it's speeding up and going all the way over there. So from here, I want the next keyframe to be a little bit further over. I'm going to go, let's say, frame 25, and I'm going to move it a little bit back. And I'm going to go to keying, and I'm going to go to insert keyframe, and let's press play. So it's going backwards, revving up, speeding up, and then getting to its destination and pulling back a little bit. It's actually going a little bit too far back, so I want to change that. So I'm going to go back to frame 25. I'm going to move it a little bit more forward. And I'm going to go to keying, and I'm going to press a plus, and that's going to overwrite that keyframe right there. So press play. Looks like that. Next, let's go to frame 12 over here. And I'm actually going to move it forward a little bit more so that it gets to its destination a little bit faster in the beginning, and then it slows down at the end. So I'm going to go to frame 12, move it a little bit forward, and set another keyframe. Let's press play. And now it looks like that. All right, that's all there is to it. Now you can also use the scale and rotate tools on your keyframes to try something on your own. Just keep in mind you're gonna have to change each and every keyframe, because if I change this last keyframe in the middle here and I scale it up a little bit and I set that as a keyframe right here, overwriting it. If I press play, you'll see that it goes from small to big and then back to small, because on these keyframes the scale was set as it was. So that's what that looks like. Good luck, have fun.